Welcome to From First Kiss to Wedded Bliss, the podcast where we talk about all things marriage. From saying, I do, to learning how to keep saying, I still do. I'm your host, Marcy Sullivan, a Christian marriage coach passionate about helping couples build lasting, joy-filled marriages rooted in faith. Each week, we'll dive into real conversations, biblical wisdom, and practical tools that will strengthen your connection, deepen your love, and keep Christ at the center of your relationship. So whether you're newly engaged, newly married, or years into your journey, this is your place for encouragement, inspiration, and the reminder that a thriving marriage is possible with God's help. Let's get started. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. We're talking about something that most of us need, but don't always like. Feedback. Feedback can feel uncomfortable, but it's also one of the most powerful tools for growth, especially in marriage. Today, I'm going to share why feedback matters, how to ask for it in your marriage, and I'll tell you 2 stories, one from outside of marriage and one from inside, to bring it to life. By the end, you'll have a practical tool you can use with your spouse this week. So let's start with this. What is feedback? I like to think of feedback as a mirror. It shows us things we can't always see ourselves. In everyday life, and especially in marriage, we all have blind spots. Without feedback, we just keep repeating the same patterns. Sometimes good, but sometimes not so good. And here's the key. Feedback is not criticism. That's worth repeating. Feedback is not criticism. Feedback, when it's given in love and received with humility, is a gift. It helps us grow. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I gave a speech at Toastmasters. I had worked hard on it, and I thought it went really well. Afterward, it was time for the evaluation. My evaluator started by telling me some things I had done well. Good eye contact, lots of passion, and clear points. That felt good. But then, they said, you spoke a little too fast. It was hard to take it all in. If you slowed down and added a few pauses, your message would land even more powerfully. Now, I'll be honest. At first, it stung a little. Nobody likes to hear where they fell short. But then I thought about it, and the next time I gave a speech, I slowed down, I paused more, and people connected with me in a deeper way. That feedback made me a better communicator. And marriage is no different. We can't grow if no one ever points out what needs work. If feedback can make us better speakers, imagine what it can do for our marriages. I want to take a moment to tell you about my new devotional for wives. It's called Loving Well, Devotions for the Heart of a Christian Wife. Being a wife is such a beautiful calling, but let's be honest, it isn't always easy. Between daily responsibilities, busy schedules, and the ups and downs of marriage, it can be easy to lose sight of God's heart for love. That's why I created Loving Well. This devotional is designed to encourage, strengthen, and equip Christian wives to love their husbands with grace, patience, and joy. Inside, you'll find scripture to keep your heart rooted in God's truth, practical reflections for real life marriage challenges, and heartfelt prayers to draw you closer to God and to your spouse. Whether you've been married for many years or you're just starting out, these devotions will help you walk more closely with Christ while deepening your love for your husband. So, if you're ready to invest in your marriage, strengthen your faith, and learn to love well, grab a copy of Loving Well, Devotions for the Heart of a Christian Wife. Marriage is such a close relationship, and it's easy to just coast. We assume we're doing fine, but without feedback, we can miss where our spouse is feeling unseen or unloved. Feedback keeps a marriage alive. It keeps us intentional. It helps us keep learning how to love one another better. Let me share a marriage example. There was a couple, let's call them Sarah and James. They had been married about 12 years. Sarah thought she was showing love by cooking dinner every night. James appreciated it, but what he really longed for was her undivided attention after work. But he never said anything. He just kept quiet. One night, Sarah asked him something simple. On a scale of 1 to 10, how am I doing as a wife? James paused, thought about it, and said, I'd say a 7. Now here's the key. Sarah didn't get defensive. She didn't argue. Instead, she asked a follow-up question. What can I do to bring the score up to a 10? And James said, honestly, if we could just sit down for 15 minutes after dinner, no phones, no distractions, just us, that would mean the world to me. So Sarah tried it, and something amazing happened. James felt more connected and valued than ever before. Their marriage grew stronger, not because Sarah was perfect, but because she was willing to ask, listen, and act. So let's get practical. Here's a tool you can use this week. Ask your spouse, on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I doing as a wife? Or husband, depending on who's asking. If the answer is anything less than 10, don't get defensive. Just follow up with, what can I do to bring the score up to 10? That's it. Simple, yet powerful. Now, let me give you a few tips to make this work. Ask with humility. Don't ask if you're not ready for the answer. Listen without defensiveness. This isn't about blame. It's about growth. Take one step. You don't have to fix everything at once. Just act on one thing that they share. Remember, feedback isn't about perfection. It's about connection. So let's wrap this up. Feedback is a gift. It helps us see our blind spots. It helps us grow stronger, and it deepens love. This week, I encourage you to try the 1 to 10 question with your spouse. It may feel a little awkward at first, but trust me, It can open the door to a new level of intimacy and understanding in your marriage. Imagine what could change in your relationship if you started to see feedback not as criticism, but as an opportunity to love better. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode encouraged you, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And share it with a friend who could use some encouragement in their marriage. Until next time, remember, feedback is a gift, and love grows when we're willing to learn from one another. Thanks for joining me on From First Kiss to Wedded Bliss. If today's episode encouraged you, share it with a friend. And be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. For more resources and coaching to strengthen your marriage, visit marcysullivan.com. Until next time, keep Christ at the center and keep choosing love every day.